Hey yo, it's okay.
That noise was because we did not hit record and we recorded 16 hours of content.
Here we go. Ready?
No, just keep it going. Just keep it going.
We're starting now, Ant. This is the we're starting music. We're in.
Bro, that's like from like a 60s or 70s sitcom?
They call it a stinger.
A stinger.
Stinger. And also I have sound effects now, so you're all gonna get real annoyed.
Wait, can you play it again one more time?
Yeah, this one. I was gonna put the DJ air horn in here, but if I have more than one of these, that's just all you're gonna hear. Anytime you start saying anything I don't want to talk about, it's just like yeah.
Hey, cheers, bro.
Cheers, man. What episode is this?
Episode 8 or 7? I think 7. Maybe 8. I have to double check.
Yeah.
I think it's 8. We're very close to 10.
So this is the second time that we're attempting to record this episode.
Yeah, we had a brain fart and forgot to press record. So
he meant me.
Yeah, I didn't want to add him out, but yeah, there you go. It was Simon's fault.
But I was super excited because the first time we tried to record, I'm like, hey, we finally got this covered. We could just sit down and start recording. Just in case for everyone at home, I have to press record on the audio and the video.
Yeah.
And I did one of them. But see, look, the red thing's going. This is going
I must say, I'm not going to lie. In the beginning, I thought like starting a podcast was going to be not that hard. I thought it was just going to be like, all right, just two guys, put on 2 cameras.
I knew that us talking
this shit has been fucking crazy.
I knew that us talking about stuff was going to be super easy.
Yeah.
But like coming from video way back in the day, like I knew it was not going to be.
This is probably our 10th setup, maybe more.
This is probably our 10th setup. And the fact we also recorded, how many episodes did we record?
That we've never aired.
That we didn't air. We did. So we probably recorded 6 episodes of content, and it took us. This was like in the height of wedding season too. So we're like, all right, we'll do it, and we can put it out one at a time.
Right.
And it was like it got so long that the content became completely like it was so not current that it was just not worth releasing.
So basically what Simon's saying is DM podcast in the link in bio and we'll teach you. No, I'm kidding.
Selling shit.
I'm kidding. But anyway, how was your week, bro? Everything good?
It was good. I mean, it's things are winding down for me. I went on an editing spree last week and like made myself sort of catch up.
Okay.
I'm also currently we're also currently training an editor for us.
Nice. How's that going?
It's going well. It's something that the post-production side of wedding photography is tedious, and it's something that I have had a very hard time like allowing someone else to do that I trust.
Handing over the keys.
And thankfully, I have someone who's doing my culling now, and she does a better job than I would do.
You see, man, like when you say stuff like that, like I really hope that if there are any like inquiring couples that are either trying to inquire into Simon's services or into mine, understand that you're not just hiring a photographer to come and take a camera and shoot your wedding.
Yeah, it's a team.
It's a lot. Like we have to pay our second shooters. We have to edit. We have to cull probably 10 to 20,000 images between 2 photographers. Now we have to edit the ones we like. It's a long, tedious process.
And I think the coolest thing is, the person I have doing the culling for me now, the thing that I always worried about was like, I know this couple really well at this point. I know what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So I need to be the one to pick those things.
Absolutely.
But when you have someone who's also a wedding photographer,
thanks to Sam,
and knows sort of what people are looking for, and then I send probably overly detailed notes. I'm like, this is how this couple met, and like they really like this stuff. And I always send
helps put the story together.
Well, I send a blurb about like, here's the stuff that is important for them, because sometimes the portrait session is really important. They just want stuff to hang on their wall, or other times they're like, we don't care about that. We just want the candid moments. And I did it just as a trial, and she sent me back stuff that I was like, this is perfect. And it's a more manageable amount of photos than I would have picked, because for some reason, no matter how many photos we shoot, I cannot get below 1,200 photos. And I think 1,200 photos is a little too many to be manageable. And
Too many to be manageable.
Manageable in the sense that, like, I find that a couple looking at 1,200 photos, you're going to be looking at a lot of duplicates. Not duplicates. Just,
I know what you mean, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
So I like to keep it under 1,000.
Okay.
And she gets me to that number.
Yeah.
And
nice.
then the other cool part about it is the editing side of things. You know, you can go to an editing service, you can go the AI route, which is fine. But talking to a friend of ours, you know, I was letting her know that I was, you know, like, I'm super overwhelmed with edits right now. Like, I know you're using an editor. Do you mind telling me who you're using? Like, do they take on new clients, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, honestly, it's just like a friend of mine that I trained.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
So
trusting someone and giving them the keys. And
right. So
and
we found a
from
friend,
there.
one of Magda's friends who is a graphic designer, knows Photoshop, knows color theory. I sent her, you know, I sent her a Smart Previews like catalog, for those of you who know what that is. If you don't, that's fine too. But I gave her basically like anchor images. So it's, you know, I took each different lighting scenario and kind of did like a basic edit on it, like how I would want it to look. And then from that, she was able to edit everything else, and she sent it back to me. And she's never done this before. And I was expecting to have to, you know, she emailed me. She said, you know, let me know the stuff you want me to work on. Show me the before and after of the stuff that I edited compared to what you want. Dude, I went through, I think I changed tiny things in maybe 4 photos.
Nice.
It was like perfect. And I'm like, you're hired. So
take my money.
Yeah, it's one of those trial and error things, but it's going to take so much off of my back next year. So I have time. I want to be able to spend more time talking to clients and the client experience.
Yeah.
I want to have more time to do commercial work.
Absolutely.
And being buried under 30 weddings worth of edits is like, just, there's no time for that.
So I mean, I'm not struggling with edits, but you know, I feel
you
your
have a
pain
better
right
work
now.
ethic than me. However, you also don't have 2 small gremlins running around.
True,
the house,
true.
Which takes up a lot of my time.
So yeah, I mean, that was Simon's week, which was pretty fucking long. Thanks, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
But my week was also pretty interesting. I actually went to San Francisco this past weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know. Oh,
keep talking. The camera will be on you. I'm just.
Okay.
I got a phone call. And
oh wait.
It's from my wife. You know. Should we call her?
If you want to.
Let's call. Let's. You know, get her on here.
Don't fuck up the studio.
Hi. What's up?
Are you recording? Sorry.
Yeah, you're on the podcast right now.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, then I'll call you back later.
Anything important? Oh, okay.
I just didn't know if you were recording or not. I figured you would have put it on.
No.
Do not disturb.
Probably should have, huh?
Yeah.
Say hi to Aunt.
Hi, Aunt.
Yo.
All right, well, have fun. I'll talk to you later.
Love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
There's a podcast I listen to where, like, anytime he gets a phone call from his wife, he puts it on and just doesn't tell her she's on the podcast. And like some of the shit that she says is so good.
Nah, it's fucked up.
I know. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
But you had an interesting week that I definitely think people would be interested in.
Yeah, man. So, in case a lot of you don't know, I actually, prior to becoming a photographer, I was involved in the drug game. So,
I knew it.
Well, technically, kind of, if you think
you're not
about it.
wrong, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a background in cancer research as well as regulatory compliance. So what I do on the side is I will go to small companies, sometimes big. I have an auditing agency that that gets hired by smaller companies that want to basically, let's say, work with the company to do a phase 1 clinical trial that will start to test like their drug on actual human patients. So before that happens, they want to make sure that the company that they're working with, that is performing different types of tests for them, is compliant with the FDA, and they're following certain procedures and following training protocols and different things that will give them reassurance that this company is legit. So I know Simon's wife sort of does something kind of similar on a different scale.
So she has the same master's degree in regulatory affairs.
Yeah.
She's not auditing people, but she
No.
is the assistant director of cancer research at Jefferson.
Yeah. So
in addition to being a wedding photographer, she's not a fan of free time apparently. So yeah.
So yeah, man, it was cool. I went to San Fran. I audited a company. It turned out really great. It was a lot of fun. But I'm doing this because I want to keep my skills. I have a master's, like Simon just mentioned, in regulatory affairs. So yeah, it's just a cool way to keep my skills fresh. And if I ever want to fall back into that full time, I always have that opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it's kind of funny to me because it's almost like the thing that most people would consider a real people job is almost like your hobby. It's like you're still making money off of it, but it's like you're doing it for fun and to keep your skills up.
Exactly.
Which is what most people do with their hobby.
Exactly.
And you get to do what most people's hobby is for a living, man. Which is pretty awesome.
And kind of just like switching topics. So prior to starting this episode, Simon was eyeing my bag that you guys see over here.
What's in the box?
What's in the box is something, or bag, that I wanted to share with you guys. So I shot a wedding over this past weekend, or maybe 2 weekends ago. And bro,
you had an epiphany, which I have had too. We were texting each other during our weddings. We both got the same piece of equipment that at the same time I'm texting him like, bro, I haven't taken this thing off my camera the whole day.
Right. So prior to this weekend, I'll go back to like last wedding season. I brought a gigantic, Simon's seen it, a gigantic suitcase.
I got.
You even did a meme. You sent me a meme.
I did, which I'll throw up right now. But I was, I gotta find a still image of the episode we filmed that never aired of us showing off our gear and you rolling in with this. I swear to God, this was like
you fit a dead body in there.
You could put a body in this rolling case that you had. The amount of gear that you brought to weddings, just like
I'm changed. I'm a changed man. 2025, new me.
We all go through this journey.
Exactly.
I just did it a year or two before you. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I want to show you guys is a lens that honestly I think is going to change the game. So actually, Simon had this lens before me, and I was able to kind of test it out and look at it, and I pulled the trigger. It's a 28-70 f 2.0 made by Sony. You want to tell the people more about it or what?
Yeah. So the cool thing about this lens, first of all, so I know I've said it before, but Magda and I switched to Sony lenses, or sorry, Sony camera system last season, which
thanks
we love.
to me, by the way.
Yep, I'll give you credit for
yes.
it. But the other thing in that bag is my fault, which we'll get into in a minute. But so the one thing I was a little sad about leaving Canon was Canon had this lens, the 28-70, and the thing that makes it unique is that
was it 24 or 28?
It's 28.
It's 28. Okay.
The thing that makes it unique is it's a 28-70, but it's f2. Most zooms that are 24-70 or in that range are 2.8.
Yeah.
It's only a stop of light, but that
Huge
one stop of light makes that's a great way to put it. The 2.8 to 2 is a big stop of light.
100%.
The thing about Canon's lens, it was a bazooka, and carrying that thing around.
How much did it weigh?
I don't remember how many grams it was. It weighed enough that my wrist hurt by the cocktail. It was so
top heavy with the camera.
Yeah, and the Canon bodies, I feel like we're a little lighter than the Sonys. I could be completely making that up, but
I think you're right though.
But this one is a pound lighter, which is huge. And it's now more narrow. And can you show them when you zoom that in how far it actually extends? This is like a part that was crazy to me. It extends like nothing. Like that's all the way in the zoom range.
And that's with the lens cap on and a filter. But as you guys can see, it's not much. I think the 24-70 that they have extends a little bit more.
I'd show you, but it's on this camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I held the 24-70 and that one next, like just as like a weird comparison, not with the scale, but they're not that far off. And both of us, I text him at some point in the day when we were both shooting, and I know he was trying to. I'm like, dude, I'm literally using one camera in this lens. I haven't changed it all day.
Bro, I don't think I've ever done that in my career where I just used one lens, one camera all day long. So Sony, you guys did something good with this lens, and if you guys want us to test out some more gear, we're more than happy to do that.
But I think, the funny thing to me about it is that, I don't want to say I've been anti-zoom for most of the time shooting weddings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Just weddings, because for commercial work, like the 24-70 is like the standard. That's what I always use. But in the past, I had two camera bodies on me with usually like a 50 and a 35, or maybe like a 35-85 combo. And that's what you did when you needed a separate focal length. You would pick up that one and you'd shoot with that. Or sometimes,
but that's because too, bro, it was a stigma, right? Back in the day.
I think it was a stigma, and also we all shot just wide open all the time. And so having 1.4,
so you wanted that look,
But honestly, like 2.0 at 70 gives you that look if you want it.
I remember when I first started shooting, and I saw some of my favorite photographers, like I would work for them and be like, "Oh, what are your settings?" Da, da, da. A lot of them would be like, "Oh yeah, I shoot at 1.2 all day long." And then I tried to do that. I would try to do that on like a Canon Mark D, a 5D Mark II.
Oh yeah.
Remember the bulky 50M that they had, the 1.2? I would do that at 1.2, and 90% of my images were out of focus.
The funny thing about that,
they
which
were
is
out of
interesting,
focus,
is that the different copies of that same lens, some of them would like be able to nail it.
Right.
And some wouldn't.
I do remember hearing that.
Yeah, it was weird. I had two. I had one and Magda had one, and Magda's used to nail it and mine didn't. And I was just like, why are you better at focusing than me? And it turned out that wasn't
right.
the case.
I had to purchase like all these like calibration softwares
I
and all
forgot
these
about
things.
you set it up on a tripod at a Target.
Exactly.
Oh, I hated that shit. But long story short, like, zoom lenses for so long got a stigma to them. And I think that, having used this, and last season I did use my 24-70 a lot, but the thing that I did that I thought helped me with the zoom lens, because what I think that is tricky with the zoom lens is I'm just going to stand where I'm standing and point the camera at you, and I'm going to zoom it in and out till I have a frame that I like.
Okay.
And then take the picture. That is one way to do it, and I think that's why people seem to think that they're boring, because you can just really not have to do a lot. But I think
it's so much deeper than that.
Yeah, but the way I've been using it, at this point, most of us who are prime lens snobs, as you would call it, my kit, as most people's kits, started off as 35, 50, 85. At some point, I added a 24 for dancing, big group photos, that kind of stuff. I think I had 70-200, but that I didn't use it very much.
Yeah.
105, 135, that kind of stuff. But that was the main kit. And using that as long as I did, when I look at an image I want to get, I can generally have a good idea of what focal length will look good for that image.
Yeah.
And what I did last season was, instead of carrying two cameras, I would do one camera body and then a little bag with lenses with no back caps on them, and you just pop them on, pop them off.
I think I'm a changed man. I think that's the vibe for this season.
It was really quick, and unless you're at a ceremony where you need different focal lengths really quickly, like
But honestly, bro, like I feel like church weddings are sort of dying out a little bit, right?
Here's the issue. Yes, the normal church weddings are. The church weddings that I end up shooting now are like the Basilica. Like, it's going to be a massive church.
Sure.
So it's like you need something long. But what I do with zoom lenses now is like, so I'm looking at you right now.
Yeah.
And I know that if I was going to take a portrait of you, I would probably use a 50mm lens.
Okay.
Just where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
Maybe a 35, but I think I would like the
depending
50
on
better.
what you want to look.
So what I'm doing with this zoom lens and with what I did with the 24-70 last year was, okay, I'm looking at this image. I know it's going to look good with the 50. So I just zoom it to 50 and then compose from there.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm just going to be lazy and stand here.
Yeah.
Where you can look at something and say, this image is going to look better with more compression, or this is going to look cooler as a wider shot without compression.
So I have a challenge for you.
Ooh, tell me.
So if you can pick, because we're trying to be minimal, and we're also trying
Which
to.
is hysterical hearing you say that after knowing what you used to bring to weddings. I think this is a journey every photographer, especially wedding photographers, make. They're like, I need all the stuff, and then they're super happy, and then by the third or fourth wedding, they're like, I'm not carrying this.
I need
anymore.
to sell everything.
Yeah.
So if you can, I'm going to give my list, and then I want you to give me 5 things in terms of lenses, gear, flashes, whatever it is. 5 things for a photographer getting into the wedding industry.
Ooh, I like
5
this.
things that they would need to shoot a wedding.
Are we trying to make this like a budget thing? Or are we just saying, like, if I could only take 5 things to a wedding?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you there's no budget.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you the worst scenarios.
Okay.
So you're shooting in a Holiday Inn.
Okay.
The ceremony is in a barn.
Okay.
It's in the beginning of January, where it's going to be dark by 4 o'clock. And the ceremony is also, I'm sorry, the reception is also happening in the barn.
Okay. I think I already know my things.
Okay. So for me, I think right off the bat, this is for all you guys out there, right? 2 cameras. 100%.
Totally.
You cannot have a kit without a backup camera.
Right.
Because if you do, what happens when you drop that prime camera, right? I don't know if that has ever happened to you.
I have, we don't have second shooters very often, but I have
Yeah.
had a second shooter show up with one body. And
Bro, there's no way.
yeah. So,
There's no way. So yeah, definitely have a backup camera just in case you drop that camera. Or I've even had guests come like next to me and like hit my camera or like break my. This has probably happened to you too, where the Godox flashes, like the hot shoe, will just break.
I don't use that brand anymore, bro.
Yeah, I think
Or
I
like-
might switch too,
But,
man.
well,
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, two camera bodies. 28 to 70.
Love it.
100%.
All right, so we're-
F 2.0.
So we've got the 3 things. You have 2
Three
camera
things.
bottoms. You got the 28 to 70.
2 camera bottoms. What did you say?
Apple bottom jeans. No. 2 camera bodies.
2 camera bodies.
28 to 70.
28 to 70. 1 flash.
Okay.
And then the last thing I think you would need would be. This is a tough one. And this is granted you already have a camera bag, you know.
Yeah, we're not talking accessories. We're talking about like the main kit here.
The main
like,
kit. I would
like
say
if you put these in a grocery bag,
Right.
you could shoot a wedding with this stuff. And we're also not talking like memory cards, batteries, all that crap. But
and I would say I'm a little torn, but I would say either a 35 millimeter lens that can stop down to like 1.4 or possibly, ooh, this is tough. I would say possibly a 70 to 200.
okay. I am almost in the exact same boat as you.
Okay.
So same first 2 things, 2
Yeah.
camera bodies. I only shoot with one.
Yeah.
But having one as a backup,
You need that.
especially during the ceremony.
Definitely.
And I only say this because it's happened to a friend of mine where bride's walking down the aisle and her shutter just explodes. And if she didn't
Bro,
have
that happened to me at a wedding too,
and
man.
but like there's a lot of moments where if that happens, it's like, oh, that sucks. Grab your other camera. But like
100%.
if it's that moment, especially or like the first kiss and you're the only one shooting it, like you need to have that other body
Oh,
on
yeah.
you to just grab it.
Actually, I carry 3 cameras, by the way.
I mean,
Just in case.
Yeah, I mean, technically, because Maggie and I always shoot together, we
Oh, yeah,
have 4 cameras.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So yeah, 2 cameras. And 20. I would again now that I'm using this. Before I'd probably say maybe 24 to 70, but 28 to 70. Flash, ProPhoto 810. Sorry, I bought that flash and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use it. It's going to be no better than the Godox, and I'm just going to return it and be like, yeah, I'm glad I tried it, and
Yeah.
that did not happen. And then the 5th thing, I would agree, like 35-1.4, because I'm thinking about the getting ready Holiday Inn thing,
Yes.
where you're not really trying to show the environment.
And no shade to Holiday Inn. I mean, I've stayed in Holiday Inns before.
No, but if you're,
But
to
there's some
make-
that are real ghetto.
and I'm thinking of this more as a cohesive final product, is
Yeah.
that if everything else is sort of that barn vibe, the Holiday Inn is not going to be the barn vibe. So
No.
you want to sort of use bokeh to hide it, which is fine. 35-1.4, 50-1.2, options like that.
Yeah.
That or on the other end of that, if you could shoot the 28 to 70 at f2 in like the 50 to 70 range and take
Yeah.
some steps back and kind of hide it also. I would say maybe like a 24
Okay.
for like the dancing part.
Yeah.
Um,
And the thing too with barns, in case any of you photographers out there that are listening that have never
people
shot
still
in a,
doing that. I haven't shot in a barn in a long time, but for
I have last year.
oh,
Oh yeah, a
I'm
couple
trying- I don't
times.
think I did last year, but for like a long time, that's the only place we shot.
Yeah. So with barns, it's hard, especially if you're the type of photographer that likes to bounce flash.
Right, because it's dark.
You can't, there's nowhere to bounce your flash. A lot of the flash comes from external off-camera flash, but also you can have an on-camera flash as well, but you're going to most likely have to point it at the couple.
You could do that, or that was the next thing I was gonna ask. I'm like, do like small accessories count? Because like,
we can go on about that.
like a bounce card, like that's an easy thing. You could take,
Yeah.
easiest way to do is if you don't have a bounce card, take like a 3x5 index card and rubber band it to the top of your. That's like what I used to do before I knew where the bounce card was. But that helps too.
So I know you were talking about just right now about accessories. I have something else I want to show you.
I know what's in that bag. Or do you want to? Or which one are we
it's
talking
not
about?
in the bag. It's not in the bag.
I've been super.
It's actually
interested
right
in
here.
these. Yeah.
So this is going to be, I think, a game changer in 2025. Now, for all of you photographers out there that are trying to get better at content creation, I truly believe this is going to be.
I saw some of the stuff you made with these, and
Yeah.
it was intriguing.
It's the only thing you need in 2025.
Can I put them on? Because I think I look
So
good
it's
in them.
the Ray-Ban Meta glasses that Facebook has recently come out with.
Right now, Mark Zuckerberg is scanning my eyeballs.
Yeah. So these glasses are pretty cool because you can control them
I think I look good in these.
by just saying, "Hey Meta, record a video."
Hey Meta, record a video. It made a noise. It told me the battery was at 100%.
Well, there you go. I could be like, from here, I could probably tell it to do something. But these
I
glasses
think it only knows your
are,
voice.
yeah, these glasses are cool because it does a POV recording of what you're basically doing with your couple.
Should we try these right now? I know I can press this button, right?
Yeah, but go ahead. Well, you just took a picture.
Oh,
You got to hold on to
I'll
it.
hold it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
There you go.
There we go. All right, we're recording now.
Yeah. And what's cool is it automatically sends the photos and videos directly to your phone. So you just open your app, your Photos app, and
Is this
you'll
still
get-
recording right now?
Oh yeah, still recording.
Nice. This is kind of cool. How wide is it?
So I would say probably like a 28 millimeter, maybe 35.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
it could see that. And what's cool too, it records it in a 9:16 format, so that way you can just post directly.
Do I
to
just press it
Instagram.
again to stop the recording?
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
I mean, it was a little expensive. It was borderline $400, but I personally think this is something that will revolutionize the content creation game, in my opinion, at least.
I think it's definitely cool. The hard part about it is it's hard to like try them on. Can you go anywhere to try them on? Do they have them at like? Oh, okay.
And then
Because I'd be afraid I'd order them and be like, wow, I look like, and I don't like how these glasses look on me.
no, I mean, you can literally just order them on Amazon. If you don't like it, you return it.
That's true.
Yeah. So
Don't give me any ideas, Ant.
I'm telling you, bro, it's worth it, 100%. And what's cool is it also has a built-in mic, so it can hear and spit out all the audio from the
that's
video.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting because the days of photographers wearing like a GoPro on their chest to do like
Yeah,
POV videos.
it's not the same.
how long can you record a video for? Like, what's the maximum?
So I think it records. You can set it up to record, I think, 3-minute and 6-minute intervals.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So
I had. Do you remember back in the day they had the Snapchat spectacles?
Oh yeah, actually,
So
I do remember those.
I had those, and I used them when we would play like bigger shows with my band.
Yeah.
So I have some great clips of me behind the kit with like, 15,000, 16,000 people
Nice.
on them. It's like it's a
that's
really
pretty
cool
cool.
view. The audio was crap though, and I was not at a point where I could like get board audio and sync it. But
Yeah.
it definitely it reminded me of that when I saw him. Like the point, but it was like a fisheye lens, so it was
Yeah.
like. It wasn't quite at the point where you would use it for social, but
Yeah.
the stuff that you took some stuff at your last wedding with it, right?
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. I posted it on my Instagram, and yeah, it's definitely a cool tool. I would definitely recommend a lot of photographers consider buying this and adding
And I
it
feel
to
like
their
my
kit.
big problem with recording social stuff at weddings is I just forget to do it because I'm
yeah,
very
that's
much.
what this will eliminate.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like very much in the moment. Like when I'm at a wedding, I'm not pulling out my phone a lot. Not for any other reason than I'm just like I'm working.
You're locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like it's like, oh, let me just do something real quick and just push that button.
Yeah.
And then
So we sort of turned this episode into like just telling you guys about gear and things like that. So there is one more piece of gear that I wanted to share with the audience, and this is honestly my holy grail of holy grails. So
I'm very curious how this worked out for your wedding, which I'll explain why after
Yeah.
you show what it is.
So it's and again, this is not to boast or anything like that, but it's something that I truly believe in having good gear. I think good gear just makes your life so much easier. And on top of that, I am a very big fan of this brand. And
Sorry.
yeah, it's definitely Simon's fault.
It's 100% my fault.
So without further ado, it's the Leica Q3 43. Now, I used to have a Leica M11 prior to this, and as you guys can see, I kind of wrapped it in like a camouflage coating because I wanted to protect the body as much as I can. But Simon doesn't like this; he's very minimal.
I just like the normal look of Leica, but
yeah,
I don't think it looks bad. I'm just like, I wouldn't do that on my camera, but
yeah. So the reason why I wanted to kind of basically on a wedding day, I'm shooting with just this and my 28-70. So I like to use the images from this camera and deliver them as a sneak peek right out of camera without editing.
So you're just using this because of how good the Leica app is.
Without doing anything, literally just take out a camera, crop images a few, and don't need to put anything on it. The way it looks out of camera is insane.
I shouldn't be saying this, but we're doing same day sneaks too, mostly because it's easier than having to go home and do it.
Yeah.
But we're not advertising that because in case we don't have time to do it, I don't want people to be like, hey, where are my airdropped sneak peeks? But
now people are going to be like, well, they don't have $7,000 to $8,000 to boast out for a camera. Now,
wait, hold on. Speaking of, because you just said a number that a lot of people are going to go, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
The thing about Leica cameras is that it's kind of hard to explain unless you've tried one. And you know, the whole topic of does gear matter is a big hot button issue, which is not the hot top button topic. But I think that having it, you know, obviously it depends on what the scenario is. But if we're just talking about the wedding industry, I think that Leica cameras in general give you a different perspective. And the example of that I can use is, for me, I like M cameras. So I have an MP film camera and I have an M11. And looking through a viewfinder that is not a screen, number one, is huge. Looking through a viewfinder that you're not actually seeing what's through the lens is another huge thing. And for me, then this is just personal taste. I find that with those kind of cameras, I get shots that I think I would not take with a traditional mirrorless body.
Yeah.
Only because of how you see through the camera.
Absolutely.
With the Q series, I've owned the Q3, not the Q3-43. The big difference is the Q3 is a 28 millimeter lens. The Q3-43 is a 43 millimeter lens, which is apparently how the human eye sees.
Bro, honestly, Leica, it changes you as a person.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, bro. It's like
I hate to
it's like a
feed
drug.
into it. I
It's
hate
like,
to feed into it because you look at like all those YouTube clips. It's like all these guys talking about it, and you're like, that can't be true.
Right.
And I got about 7 or 8 years ago, I got my first Leica, which was a restored M4 film camera. It doesn't have a light meter, nothing. And I remember using that camera for the first time and using it was an experience on its own. I'm like, this is great. But getting the pictures back on film and seeing how
changes your perspective.
How differently I shot when viewing the world through a viewfinder like that.
Yeah.
I was hooked immediately.
Yeah.
And I never used them, and we can talk about this a little bit, but I never used them for weddings because up until the M11, there was only a single card slot.
Yeah.
And as much as I've never had a card fail, it makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
The M11 series has basically a hard drive in the camera that also backs up the images, which is nice.
But it's fully manual, and it's very hard to nail focus. Which
if you don't practice on it like me, no. But the Q series is amazing. Yeah. The single card slot thing still gets me about them.
Yeah.
I've used them for weddings, and it's like I've never had an issue with it. But I'm telling you right now, if the Q series had 2 card slots, I would have a Q3-28 and a Q3-43.
And that's how you shoot the wedding.
That's probably the only cameras I would use. That's how much I like them.
So yeah, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what kind of gear I think you have to shoot a wedding.
Use what you like.
Use what you like, but just make sure that you have the right tools to do any type of job that you're trying to complete. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And you can ask any photographer; they might tell you something different. Mm-hmm. But coming from 2 experienced wedding photographers, definitely, just plan it out. And if you have questions, you could, DM us.
And I would say, please DM us because there's a lot of bad information on YouTube.
Oh my God. That's a whole nother episode.
And that will be another episode. But long story short, instead of searching on YouTube for what gear I need, DM us.
Yeah, just ask us.
I'll tell you.
Or ask your favorite photographer. I'm sure they'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I know we've been doing hot button topics, but we also introduced the segment of Dear Couples, which I really liked.
Yeah, that was something we introduced 2 episodes ago, and it was a good feedback.
And I had one that I may have previewed if you saw our Instagram story. If not, that's fine because Ant didn't see it. He had no idea that it was even there. But I had it wasn't the wedding I was shooting, but it was something that reminded me of weddings that I have shot.
Okay. So what is your dear couples for this week?
Dear couples, I'm very happy that you tell me that we're super chill and relaxed. I love that. I love chill and relaxed people.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Be chill and relaxed in life, and be chill and relaxed with how your wedding goes. But please, for the love of God, do not be chill and relaxed about the timeline on your day, or you will find yourself 50 minutes behind.
100%.
And missing out on stuff that you wanted to get done.
Wait, have you seen this thing on Instagram? This guy, he goes on the New York subway and he asks random people, what is your hot take? And then he tells them,
is he the one with the mic that he puts on
with the Metro card? He's like, I 100% agree, or disagree. Yeah. So with what you just said, I 100% agree. I think it's so crucial to not neglect your timeline.
And I think if you know you're the kind of person that is going to maybe not be, I don't want to say pushy, but maybe not be the most punctual, maybe not be on time stuff, please, for the love of God, hire a planner.
Yes.
Because
100%.
They will take all of those issues off your shoulders. But the thing I found in the past, I now find it, I don't want to say a red flag, but when people are like, we're super chill, we're super relaxed. And it's that now to me is like almost translates into, oh, so you're not going to care when we're running late. And it's not that I care when we're running late. It's that you need to understand what that affects as far as, from my perspective,
everything else, honestly.
From my perspective, what photos we're going to be able to get.
Absolutely. And I've seen situations, bro, where we're supposed to start getting ready at noon, and then the first look's supposed to happen at 1:30. The bride does not show up to the actual hotel until like 1 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, now she's still got to do her hair, finish her makeup.
Yeah.
We're not leaving the hotel 2 o'clock.
And like, I get it.
I get it. I mean, I get it too. I get it.
But at the same time, it's sort of like, if you know you're like that, for the love of God, hire a planner. DM us again. We have lots of good planners we work with. But it's hard because when you don't have a planner, we sort of become the planner as far as timeline goes. And when we set aside a specific amount of time, even when we set aside more than enough time than we need, as much as like we enjoy your personality being like, oh yeah, we're good. It's like, I know you're good, but like we're about to not be able to do family photos at all if we don't get this. So that's my dear couples moment. Maybe it's a hot take, maybe it's not, but like, be chill, be relaxed. I love it. No stress on a wedding day. I love it, but please stick by your timeline.
Damn, that was good, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause for I didn't use this at all this episode. And I'm
Simon and his sound effects.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, episode 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
It might be 8. We can't remember. Anyway, cool, we hope you guys liked this episode, and cheers, bro.
It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, man. Air cheers.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, wait. I don't have to make that noise.